Well, now we know what this prison's for. This is where Odin stashed those he would camouflage himself as.
Makes sense. If you're going to imitate someone, you wouldn't want them walking around.
Why not kill them?
He must need them alive in order to assume their form.
Aye. Odin likely wanted Tyr dead for a multitude of reasons. But he knew Tyr would be more useful alive.
Your god of war has truly returned. What now?
He'll want to stretch his legs, I imagine. Imprisonment stokes wanderlust. Not that I need to remind any of us of that.
New items! You bring the materials, I do the forging. This here's the fun part. Now go show it off. What can I do for a goddess? What do you need, handsome? All right, go get to killing.
Why, that's the dwarven sound device Sindri used during the Battle of Ragnarok. We might still find use for it yet.
Might you need your sword sharpened, milady?
Lunda, we could use you. To Vanaheim, then.
Sounded like Lady Sif managed to convince the old boar to shelter the Aesir refugees.
It was his idea,
Oh?
to foster peace among the Vanir and Aesir.
That's brilliant. Shifty bastard must be trying to prove he can out-diplomat me.
At least he's not convincing her to marry someone, like some other diplomats would.
A deservedly low blow, Your Majesty.
Anytime. Another piece of Garm's handiwork. Lassa Reef.
Incoming!
This is not over.
All of Garm's handiwork has been fixed.
I am glad.
Well, how about that?
Atreus would be happy to know we'd tied up some of his loose ends.
Perhaps we should let Hrasfulgar know.
Perhaps.
Brother, I've heard my share of stories about your homeland, but I'd also heard that you once fought in a tournament.
I fought in many contests.
But this particular one, I heard you did battle with beasts, scoundrels, princesses, the undead, automatons, and history's greatest musician. That's not true, is it?
I would not speak of this.
Fair enough, brother.
Enemy behind you, Kratos!
Left side! Watch your right!
They're healing!
Careful, brother. You're covered in Bifrost. It seems for every camp we destroy, we find 2 more.
It's almost impressive.
Now, regarding security. Kratos, Freya, welcome back. Mimir,
Lady Sif. Freya. It speaks volumes seeing you here in person. The first of the Aesir to visit us in peace.
Really, Your Majesty?
It's the capacity of the Vanir's forgiveness that speaks volumes.
we know Asgard was more than Odin and his Einherjar. If they'll help us rebuild, they're more than welcome to stay.
Aesir and Vanir living together. I never thought it possible.
I imagine a severe lack of options for the Aesir helped ease things along.
Oh, Mimir. It has truly been a pleasure not listening to your prattling commentary for the last 100 winters.
Well, excuse me, milady.
100 winters of Mimir bleating at court? I think I'd rather be exiled.
Indeed. Oh, the stories I have.
Really? Do tell.
Well, everything appears to be in order here, diplomacy administered, and all's well. Let's leave these 2 to their planning, shall we?
Back to it then. Where can we set up the farmsteads and granaries?
We don't do that kind of thing. This realm provides us what
You saved them, Freya.
I did nothing.
No. I did nothing. Scratching tally marks into a cell while the world ended around me. You returned to your people. You endured their hatred. You helped them become more.
Freyr and his
They
soldiers.
survived. They endured. But there's a reason the tide turned when the goddess Freya returned home. Your love of this place. I can feel it. Smell it in the breeze. Anyone can. That love makes you strong. Makes your people strong. It's why you won.
Thank you. There must be another piece of Asgard up ahead.
It's going to grab you!
Nasty hit! You all right, brother?
This is truly thankless work.
It must be done.
I'm sure the civilians were protecting would thank us. Well, thank both of you. Me, they would just point at and scream.
So let me see if I understand. We're expected to find someone to relieve Hrasfelger and become Hell? Not exactly an office many would wish to occupy.
Aye. We'll just pick this up later.
I look forward to exploring Alfheim and not having to fight elves.
Oh? What makes you think that's an option?
They've united, haven't they? What possible reason would they have to attack us?
Sorry to say, but there are still plenty of elves out in the Barrens eager for conflict.
But why? Freyr united them. They fought together at Ragnarok.
For those who have spent their lives in combat, peace is not always an option.
So how are we supposed to find someone willing to take Hraesvelgur's place in Helheim? Seems like a thankless job.
Indeed. Terrible weather, infinite hours, and the possibility of unleashing terrible mischief on the realms if they're careless. Or worse, if they aren't completely trustworthy.
But if she were to leave without a replacement?
Complete chaos, yes.
Well, I'm sorry I asked.
Leah, you may tell a story, if you wish.
Am I preferable to silence at last? A rare day. I'm touched. But since you mention it, there has been one on my mind of late. It goes back to my earliest days, when I had little more...
Prepare for a fight.
Careful, brother. You're covered in black
I feel bad for the Asgardians, and even worse for the Midgardian refugees. Learning the god they indebted themselves to didn't care for them at all. Such a profound betrayal.
Aye. Their homes will not be the only thing they will be rebuilding. Well, seems like a good time to get back to that story you asked for, brother. One summer, a local laird of renowned eccentricity chose to sequester himself with a small coterie of kinsmen and followers. The aim of their woodland retreat was to achieve enlightenment, to study and discipline. They took oaths to brook no distractions until they became wise men.
Distractions.
Aye, women, drink, mostly women. As you can imagine, things deteriorated quickly. By autumn, tempers were frayed and wisdom remained in short supply. One day, I watched as the laird and his brother took their hunt. There they found, at the banks of a river, a lady as fair as any they'd left behind. She pleads for their assistance, for fear the currents would carry her off if she tried to cross. The laird doesn't miss a beat. He hoists her onto his shoulders, carries her across, sets her down, doffs his cap, and fords back across to his brother, who is dumbfounded, can't even bring himself to speak. The day stretches on, the laird carries on hunting, and his brother quietly gnashes his teeth down to powder. Finally, the dam breaks. "Brother," he cries, "how could you do it after everything we've sacrificed?"
Enough talk for now. Be ready.
Finishing my story from before. The laird had broken his oath by carrying the maiden across the river. His brother quietly stewed until he could contain himself no more. How could you do it, brother? How could you break your vow like it was nothing? Carrying that lass on your shoulders like you were a Shetland pony? The laird just smiled. Brother, I sent that lass down across the river. 'Tis you carries her still. Oh, I got a chuckle. A rare day indeed.
Freyr. He forged a piece.
Of a sort.
Wish I could have seen that.
I'm sure he wished the same.
If you'll excuse me, I wish to pay my respects to your brother. In my own way.
Of course. Let's go, Kratos.
Incoming! Above you!
Shield strike now!
I believe that was the last stronghold of the Aesir.
So, Odin's oppressive ways have finally ended.
Are you satisfied?
Yes. Perhaps the realms may finally find peace and healing.
upgrade? Ragnarok armor's on the house. We'll call it a commemorative piece. You need any more? Y'all know where to find me.
idea. This equipment's sturdier than I thought.